Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Kennesaw State Owls Dynasty here on College Football 25. Last episode, we suffered a tough defeat against the defending Conference USA champion Liberty Flames as we almost bid for the upset, led most of the way, but they were able to score on a last-ditch drive at the end of the game to take the lead. But as promised, we're going to do a midseason report this episode, and we'll start by digging into our recruiting board. So we do have one commit so far, just one. I wish we had more to this point. And here we see Devon Stanzi. We'll forever remember him as the first commit here in this dynasty. An athlete with that scrambler tendency, so he's going to be a quarterback. We'll take a look at his traits here. A weak arm at 85, but we really like what he does elsewhere with that 86 speed, 91 acceleration. Very good to have a mobile quarterback, a dual threat, especially with the stage we're at. We need someone who can kind of improvise and extend plays because our offensive line really isn't on par with defensive lines that we've been going up against. But we love the 83 break sack, really can use that. 79 throw on run, 72 under pressure with pretty good accuracy traits to start. 5'11", 211, so interesting frame there under center. But he's going to be someone who bids for the starting quarterback job as early as his true freshman year. But we'll go back up the board, take a look at some current targets. And we missed out on one of our top two running back targets. I think Gilbert Gado ended up committing to Coastal Carolina. So Melvin Lane is the guy we're really hoping for. We want two running backs in this class. After next season, we'll only have two running backs left on the roster. So want to add two more just before we get to that point, so we have a little insurance at this position. But Melvin Lane, a 3-star from South Carolina, a receiving back with 74 catching, 74 short route. Decent athleticism based on, considering what we currently have on the roster with 89 speed acceleration, 72 spin, 85 change of direction. Does have some abilities, safety valve and recoup, and then mentals has road dog and team warrior. Team player. So we're currently battling with Appalachian State. I think he's going to visit with them this week, and then we bring him in a couple weeks later. So hopefully after his visit, he commits and gives us one of our two running back targets. Sean Bouye, where I'm kind of late on him. After Gado committed to Coastal Carolina, we needed to kind of go after another running back. So once we started pursuing him a little more aggressively, we've jumped up his board, really now just bidding with East Carolina. We actually jumped Liberty, even though we lost to them last time out. We do have him fully scouted. Similar athleticism to Melvin Lane, who we just talked about, 89 speed, 80 acceleration with 87 agility, 85 change of direction. Almost all of that pretty much identical to Melvin Lane, but better juke, better spin, better break tackle, good carrying as well. So Melvin Lane more of a pass catching back and Sean Bouye more of an elusive back, and we kind of need that complement in the backfield. Now at wide receivers, want to bring in probably at least one, but maybe more so two. So Demetrius Boone, we're the only team to have offered him to this point. We were late on him like we were with Bouye, kind of just started pursuing these guys recently. And with Boone, we haven't even poured any points into him, but no one really is either at this point. No one else is either at this point. So we can kind of coast, and hopefully once we have some, didn't mean to do that. Hopefully once we have some points free up, we can go into him a little bit more. But he's a deep threat at 6'3", 178, 88 speed, 92 acceleration with 76 spec catch. You like that. 76 deep route. So definitely lives up to that deep threat archetype. But the 63 release, wish that was a little bit better. And that'll bring us up here to Monty Sahara, a 6'5", 186 physical wide receiver. JUCO guy. He's going to come in as a sophomore. And look at his traits. I love the 92 speed with 94 jumping, 87 spec catch. And that's a position we've really struggled with in our offense. 81 catch in traffic as well. We've really struggled bringing down balls in contact. So I think Sahara, if he does end up committing, he's going to be a guy we can just lob the ball up to and kind of have faith in to reel it down with that size, strength, jumping, and speed. So we're the only team to have offered him, and it's been slow going. He's only 5. We really don't have many points to our disposal, only 350, plus we got to schedule visits at this point, which eats up 40. And of course, we want to scout some players as well. At tight end, probably only one in this class, Jamichael Braham. Nothing too special. A possession tight end, kind of just average across the board. A 3-star prospect. Don't mean to keep scrolling at the top there. And Gordon Fleming, we probably want 2 linemen, and Gordon Fleming probably our best option at this point. I like that strength, speed, combination with 89 strength, 68 speed, 84 impact. I like that. 73 lead block, not terrible. Good run block there against finesse. So overall, pretty solid center. And now we have Stephon Andrews. We're the only team to have offered him a pass protector at right tackle out of Jacksonville, Florida, but we haven't scouted him at all. So once we have some points free up here in the coming weeks, we'll try and get Andrews scouted a little bit more. Now we have Tyler Anger, another gem here. We have signed Stanzi, who is a gem, and now Tyler Anger, another athlete, a power rusher out of Deerfield Beach, Florida, and really like the traits on him with 83 speed, 89 strength. So just a unit there at D end with good size, good power move at 68, and pursuit at 79. The play rec and awareness a little low, but kind of expect that from a freshman. But if we're able to get him in, we're the only team who have visited him. So hopefully we're not too far from getting Tyler Anger to commit here. We want 2 D ends. He's one of them. And here's the other, Marquez Stevens, the only team to offer him so far. Not even really pouring points because we have a big cushion at this point. 84 strength, 79 speed. Another D end with good size, good power, good speed combination. Another power rusher here with 77 power move. And like Anger, the play rec and awareness a little down, but I like the size and athleticism of these two guys. Maybe can develop into starting D ends at one point here in the near future. And then at D tackle, I mentioned Rudy Turay in our episode against Middle Tennessee State. Even though we lost to them, we are still leading the way. He has visited with the Blue Raiders in that episode, but we're still, looks like he's very close now, just a 3-team race, but Jacksonville State not even in on him without a scholarship offer. And Turay is a gem, 88 strength, 60 speed, so not the most athletic, but you like that strength at 6'4", 302, gets that run stopper tag, 68 block shed, 78 pursuit, with 71 play rec, so pretty high on the play rec front with 77 hit power as well. So Turay, someone who could develop into a starting D tackle, especially with that gem tag. And right now we're actually throwing time to get to work, which gives him 40 points for the week, but that fits A+ for style, playing time, proximity to home. So his ideal pitch really worked out for us. It's rare, we only have 3 A+ categories in his case, and that checks out to be parts of interest for him. So hopefully we can pull away with that pitch. As when I move down to Emmanuel Exum, we only started pouring points into him pretty recently, but with Adam Watkins maybe transferring, every time we finish a game, it brings up players who are considering transferring, and our starting D tackle is one of those. So want to add another D tackle to this class. Hopefully we can get Turay in the coming weeks, and hopefully we can get Exum in addition. So we're kind of pulling away from Wake Forest at this point, even though we're a little late on his recruiting front. 88 strength with 70 speed, so a little faster, and he actually is a Kennesaw, Georgia native, so hopefully he stays in town and plays for the Owls. 73 finesse move, and kind of complements Turay, who's more of a run stopper, and then we can get Exum in there, who can rush the passer a little bit. Now, linebackers probably need 2, and all the ones that we've scouted really have either committed elsewhere or they've turned out to be busts. So Taj Fatinikun is the only one right now that we are currently pursuing. 84 speed with 78 zone, 89 agility, 75 block shed. So I really like those traits to build off of. 90 acceleration, 83 tackle. So looks to be a decent run stopper and decent coverage traits with good athleticism as well. So even though he's a bust, I think he would come in and be our most athletic linebacker right off the get-go, even if he doesn't get legit playing time from the start. So only team to have offered him, and we're just going to continue not to pour points into him and see if we can bring him in despite that. Now, we really need a corner, probably 2, and Steve Bequette is our top option. Already brought him in for a visit, and UAB, right on our horse here, they visit with him, I think, this week or next week, and we're pouring the maximum 50 points into him. The only player right now on our board we're giving the maximum to. Decent athletic traits, 87 speed, 88 agility, 89 change of direction, 88 acceleration with good man at 66, but that zone very low at 59. But you like the play rec, the pursuit, the tackle. So it looks every part to be, like a feisty slot corner, and hopefully we can get him in. Javon Malik out of Venice, Florida, kind of late on his recruitment. USF leading the way right now. 93 speed. So better, kind of a better athlete, at least with the speed compared to Bequette, probably more of a perimeter player, maybe even a safety with that 76 zone. That really depends on his tackle, 60 tackles, so maybe it could be a free safety. We do need some safeties in this class, and it's been very weak, kind of like the linebacker position. Every safety we seem to scout, they are a bust. And these two right here, Emmanuel Payne, we just had in for a visit, Farouk Amame, both busts. Really nothing special, when you look at their traits. Both 85 speed, one better in the box as a run support guy, one more of a zone safety. But even with that 85 speed, I really don't trust him, over the top. Enrique Suarez, someone we added late to the board, a hybrid safety, a different mold than those two. But again, another bust with his speed there in the mid-80s. Don't really like that. And then we have some extra guys that we've offered. Kurt Bowler, if we missed out on one of our top two offensive line guys, I think Bowler wouldn't be a bad insurance in that spot. James Marks at linebacker, we did offer him. Going to try and scout him next time or next cycle. And also Pete Ricci here. We offered him as well because, like I said, we need linebackers, probably two, and Fatini Kun is the only one left standing after a few have committed elsewhere. And then just a couple extra guys down here on the board. So our recruiting front, for year one, not looking too bad. I mean, most of these guys that we're pursuing are all 3-stars, and I think that's a pretty good spot considering we're a 1-star program. We're fresh to the FBS, and in terms of Conference USA teams, probably the last there on the pecking order. So not bad there. Hopefully we'll get a few more commits here as we go along in the next couple weeks. And we'll take a look here at my school. We really don't have much to work with unless the player likes our playing style or we have proximity to home or playing time. Really, we don't have anything to offer. Our highest pitch otherwise would be conference prestige at just a C, tied there with pro potential, and then at C- campus lifestyle. Everything else D or D-. And you can see there players at risk. So we have 3 players in the red, all starters on the defense. Adam Watkins at D tackle, Tylon Dunlap at left end, and Hobson at right outside linebacker. Actually had a pick 6 last episode. And then Jericho Washington, our top corner, there in the orange. So we have a few players at risk of transferring away, and we really need a strong finish down the stretch here to keep them in Kennesaw. So with that, we'll now go around the nation. We'll look at the top 25. A lot of top 25 matchups last week. Really interested to see how they played out. So Texas 8-0, still number 1, come off a big win against Vanderbilt. Oregon beats Illinois 50-14, kind of rolling through the Big Ten here in their first year in the conference. Alabama at 7-1 beats Missouri. Michigan at 7-1 beats Michigan State for the Paul Bunyan Trophy. And we're going to have number 2, Oregon, visit the Big House against number 4, Michigan this next week. Ohio State takes care of business against Nebraska 31-3. They'll be against Penn State. Then Louisville at 7-1 comes off a 2-point victory against Boston College. They'll be at number 10 Clemson. So another week with some marquee matchups. Miami beats a ranked Florida State team 24-23. What an ACC matchup that must have been. The Hurricanes now back in the top 10. Notre Dame beats Navy. They're 7-1. North Carolina undefeated at 8-0. One of 3 teams now undefeated out of the major conferences. Clemson at 6-1 rounds out the top 10. And Kansas 7-1 as they beat Kansas State. Much better fortune for them here in this sim than what they've been going with in present day. I think a 1-4 or like a 2-4 start for the Jayhawks this year in present day. Florida State, a tough loss there against the Hurricanes. They'll face number 9 North Carolina. So another big ACC matchup there. USC beats a ranked Rutgers team as they're now 6-2. Oklahoma State, a 4-point win against Baylor, 6-2. Utah at 7-1 drops over 50 on Houston. Penn State beats Wisconsin by 1. They'll take on the number 5 Buckeyes this week. Auburn, a big win against Kentucky in SEC play. Arkansas at 6-2. Georgia at 4-3. 3 losses for the Bulldogs. They're at 19 still, though. Virginia Tech rounds out the top 20, a win against Georgia Tech. And now at 21, NC State. Rutgers at 22. Tennessee, another 3-loss team here, along with Texas A&M. And then Texas Tech at 6-2, rounding it out. Now we'll get our first look at the college football bracket, and this is what's projected at this point. We have number 1 Alabama, number 2 Michigan, and then Louisville and Kansas also with byes winning their respective conferences. At number 5, Texas. I'm surprised to see them at 5, not number 1, but I guess Alabama is still projected to win the SEC. Oregon, Clemson there in a 6-11 matchup. Miami, Notre Dame would be a good first round game there at 9-8. And then UAB, 6-1, a great season so far from the Blazers. And now here's a look at the Heisman watch. Dillon Gabriel leading the way. We'll see if he can put together a Heisman moment in this top 5 matchup against Michigan next week. Jalen Milroe up here, Quinn Ewers. So the top 3 teams, Texas, Oregon, Alabama, their quarterback each making up the top 3 in the Heisman watch. Then Avery Johnson, a true sophomore from Kansas State, although they come off a tough loss against the Jayhawks. And then here's DJ, not even going to try and pronounce his last name, having a much better year here in the sim than he is in present day. So an interesting Heisman watch, all quarterbacks so far. And I guess we will just go down award watch list at this point, see who's been tearing it up so far. So our quarterbacks for player of the year here, Heisman watch, essentially all quarterbacks. Isaiah Bond, the top non-quarterback at number 10, head coach of the year. And I really find it hard to work with, all these fake names when it comes to coaches. But Hector Luna of North Carolina, currently number 1. Best quarterback goes to Gabriel. Best defensive player, Ashton Gillott from Louisville. I'm not sure if I pronounced his name correctly. Andrew Makuba from Texas leading the way for best DB. And look at that, 5 Texas DBs in the top 6. Their whole secondary just having tremendous seasons. And then the last 2 that aren't Texas guys are Alabama guys. We even have another one here at number 9, a Texas player. Best running back, CJ Baxter leading the way. Another Longhorn set for some hardware. Best receiver, Dakota Thompson out of Southern Miss. Lombardi Award, Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State. Unitas Golden Arm Award to Dillon Gabriel. Best D-end, Ashton Gillott, as we saw earlier, up for some other hardware. Tate Ratledge up for the Best Interior Lineman Award. Best tight end, Amari Niblack. So another Texas guy leading an award, Broyles Award, both of them for Texas coordinators. So I guess it kind of just goes by team. Texas, North Carolina, Oregon, and then you see a little more scattered as we see 2 Miami coordinators up here. But the Broyles Award does go to the best coordinator, and Texas leading the way. So those guys probably up for head coaching gigs. Oregon, Jeffrey Bassa leading for best linebacker, best center. Parker Brailsford, the Washington transfer, followed De Boyer there to Tuscaloosa. Lou Groza, Dragon Kesich, there you go. A Minnesota kicker there leading for the Lou Groza. Best punter going to Jeremy Crashaw at this point. And then best returner, Caden Durham from LSU. That was just a little look around the nation. Look good to see the top 25. It's been a while since we kind of updated that, so just wanted to get a quick look on that front. So we'll take a look at some stats right now. Davis Bryson completing 51%, 7 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, 6.2 yards per attempt. Really coming along here over the past few weeks, so kind of feeling more comfortable with the passing game here in College Football 25. In the backfield, Benyard and Benefield have almost split 50-50 in terms of carries. Benefield 4.8 to Benyard's 4.5. 2 touchdowns on the ground for Benyard, 1 for Benefield, and then the freshman DJ Scott had a touchdown a couple games back. Leading in receiving is Benyard, so 403 through the air, 374 on the ground, up to almost 800 yards from scrimmage, plus he's been a kick returner as well. 4 touchdowns through the passing game. Only 3 other players with a receiving touchdown. Wallace and Moss each had one last game, and then Carson Kent had one a couple games back. So we're going to try and get someone with multiple touchdowns here, receiving-wise, as Benyard the only player with multiple pass-catching touchdowns. Carson Kent second in receptions and yards at tight end. Blake Bohannon really emerging as a reliable option. 14.2 yards per catch, leading the way. Tykeem Wallace, 15 catches, use him on screens a lot. Christian Moss, our number 1, but only 9 catches on the year, just over 100 yards. His first touchdown last week, blocking-wise. So downs played. Nate Wright, we did start him at left guard, and we moved him to center. I feel like he's probably best suited in that spot. Moved him to center a few weeks back, and he's really held it down. Our offensive line's played a lot better. Ethan Newman, only 1 sack allowed, has played pretty much every down so far. JT Pennington, we now have him at left tackle. he started most of the year at right tackle. Dodge Soser gave up 4 sacks on the year. We benched him last game. Too many penalties as well. So we now have Jacob Kettles in his spot, but already 2 sacks allowed in 133 snaps. And Zacchaeus Williams at right guard, 70 overall, 2 sacks allowed for him so far. Defensively, leading in tackles, we have Denelius Johnson and Barron Hobson, Isaac Paul, Jam Warren, Sidney Porter, Tyler Hollum, and Jericho Washington, all over 30 tackles. Tackles for loss, Adam Watkins. I'm surprised we have guys this high. Watkins with 8, Isaac Paul at safety with 7, Johnson, Hobson, Miles each with 5, Sidney Porter, another safety with 3. Leading our team in sacks, Watkins with 2, and then we have Miles and Westmoreland here at 1.5 each. 1 for Denelius Johnson, and then Dunlap and Walker also with a half sack. So not many sacks. Quick math here. I think that gives us 7 on the year. Interceptions only 2. We had a pick 6 last week with Barron Hobson. Deflections 2 for Hobson, Paul, Porter, Warren, Hollum. What about catches allowed? Doesn't even really track that, I guess. And no forced fumbles. We've suffered a ton of fumbles on offense, but we haven't forced any. Britton Williams, 6 out of 10 kicking, along with 37. We haven't missed an extra point, though, which is good. 5 out of 5 from 29. 1 out of 1 up to 39. And then from beyond 39, we're 0-4. That's where all those misses come from. Got to get better punting. 42 average yards per punt. Kind of surprised by that. We have not been good punting the ball. Returning wise, Ben Yards 19.6, not bad. Wallace 17.1, and Tykeem Wallace the only player so far to have a punt return. And before I forget, I actually wanted to include our sliders that we've been using with through the duration of this dynasty so far. So I did get these from JRod21 Heisman sliders on Operation Sports, and I actually tried Googling them the other day, but I couldn't track them down, which I thought was weird because I definitely had them when this game first came out. This was the set I was using, but I haven't been able to find them since, though. I was looking to see if maybe he had updated them, but I'm not sure what happened with that. So we're at a 28 quarterback accuracy, pass blocking kept the same. We're wide receiver catching at 39, run blocking at 18, fumbles at 32. Might have to jack that up a little bit. Pass defense reaction time 55, interceptions at 21. So I think fumbles and interceptions, I mentioned last episode, we might have to put up a little bit. We dropped so many interceptions, only 2 so far on the year. We haven't forced any fumbles, and we've lost maybe 5 or 6 fumbles so far. Tackling down to 37 for the computer. Quarterback accuracy at 32. Pass blocking, we both kept the same at 50. Catching at 40. Run blocking all the way up to 100. Fumbles at 32. Pass defense 60. 21 at interceptions. Pass coverage 62. Tackling at 43. Special teams, we kept field goal power the same. Put accuracy down to 44. Punt power to 58. Accuracy for punts at 80. And kickoff power at 54. Injuries 32. Fatigue 86. And player speed threshold at 95. And then you could just take a quick glance here at the penalties. And that's what we're working with. So I'm kind of getting more comfortable and acclimated with the sliders as we've gone along here. So like I mentioned last episode, I'm starting to have a lot more fun with this game. And I'm kind of happy, like I said, with the slider set we've been working with. So just to review the schedule, we got walloped back in week 1, 59-10 against UTSA. They're now 5-3. A one win away from a bowl game. Louisiana, we lost that one 42-11. They have a winning record. San Jose State, another team with a winning record. Jacksonville State, we lost 41-27, and they're actually 6-1. So every team we played in our first 4 games, excluding our win here against FCS Southeast, they all had a winning record. Middle Tennessee State at 4-4, we lost to them. Liberty now 5-2. We lost to them last episode, 31-21. Very good game. We held the lead most of the way, but just couldn't hold on. And now 5 games left on the year, back-to-back road games here. We'll have at Western Kentucky, 6-1 are the Hilltoppers. So a tough matchup next week, as it's going to actually be on Halloween Eve there, Wednesday, October 30th at 8 p.m. Mischief Night. Hopefully we can strike some mischief there in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and win our first conference matchup. Then we'll have 1-7 UTEP, and that's a game I kind of have circled as a winnable game along here with Sam Houston State. If we're going to win another game or two, I think one of them will be in one of those matchups. Then we'll have versus Florida International, and then we'll close the season at Louisiana Tech, currently 4-3. And now we'll go over to Western Kentucky, and we'll kind of just preview our opponent for next week as we kind of wind down this episode. A quick midseason report. Just wanted to get a look around a little bit. So look at that. Western Kentucky defeated Alabama in Tuscaloosa 30-24 back in week 1. They would beat FCS Midwest and then lose to Middle Tennessee State. So they beat Alabama but fall in this rivalry matchup against the Blue Raiders. But now they have won 4 in a row, beating Toledo, Boston College. So they beat an ACC team and an SEC team. UTEP, Sam Houston. So Alabama only 1 loss on the year, coming at the hands of the Hilltoppers. So we'll now visit Western Kentucky, and I'm kind of nervous now knowing that they defeated the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll take a look at coach stats. I think the only way we can view their playbook and all that by going to their coach. Mark Cunningham, a level 25 tactician, runs an air raid, a 3-3-5 scheme, and he's 1-0 against the top 25. That win coming against Alabama, as I'll be sure to mention next episode as well. So now we'll look at the roster, see what they're working with. And just a quick look at ours, Westmoreland and Johnson, our top 2 guys at 80 overall, and then a bunch of 70s down the board from there. Go all the way down here for Western Kentucky. I've always loved the Hilltoppers logo. I'm sorry, just that name for a team. And here we are, Western Kentucky. So a bunch of guys here above 80 at least. Anthony Johnson Jr., their top guy at 89 overall, senior corner with that impact development trait. A better zone corner, it looks like. 84 man, 91 zone with very good play rec awareness. Decent power player, very good quickness, 91 speed, 95 acceleration, 92 agility. Looks like he doesn't have any mental abilities, but does have some physicals. So Anthony Johnson, a lockdown corner there. And our other top player is Upton Stout. So they have an 89 corner and 87 corner. Both these guys at 90 speed or above. Stout, a former 2-star, only normal dev, 82 man, 84 zone. So another good cover corner. And we're going to have to probably not press the outside at all. And now an offensive player here, a true senior, Quantavious Leslie, former 3-star pass protector out of Rome, Georgia. Like I said, good pass blocker, 86, 89 pass block power. Very good power lineman with that 90 strength. Impact only at 80, though. I thought that would be a little bit higher. And a good run blocker as well. Looks like he does have some physical abilities. And I'll kind of just go position by position. So Caden Veltkamp, their starting quarterback here, does have that impact dev trait. 89 throw accuracy medium, 94 short, and a little bit off the mark the deeper you get. 77 deep throw accuracy. So someone who's probably going to just, test the first 2 levels of the field, probably not going to see many pass attempts over 15, 20 yards or so. Throw power at 92. And 71 speed. So not really a dual threat. The break sack at 81. No mental abilities. Let's take a look at his stats. See how he's held up this year. So 19 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Along a 93 with a 63% completion. Nearing 2,000 yards. Does have 1 rushing touchdown as well. TJ Finley, the backup. I think Finley was at Auburn, if I'm not mistaken. They actually do have 2 decent freshman quarterbacks here as well. At running back, Elijah Young going to be the guy, senior out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Another player here with star dev. Good elusiveness, 93 agility, 92 change of direction. Very quick player as well with the 94 speed. So dynamic, if he gets into space with tremendous speed, acceleration, and agility. A tremendous athlete there at running back. Wide receivers here, Dalvin Smith, Michael Matheson, Bryce Childress, a few seniors up here, 81 overall, 79, 78. At tight end, 83 overall, River Helms. Another guy with impact dev, a bunch of abilities here. Has mentals, has some physicals. Going for his ratings. A decent route runner at short and medium, kind of plays into his quarterback strength with that short to medium range. good hands, decent IQ player, power player as well, and good quickness there for a tight end at his size. So some threats here at tight end and running back for Western Kentucky. A decent receiver or two as well. At left tackle to have Marshall Jackson, 77 overall. Leslie at 85 overall at left guard. So pretty strong on the left side. At center, they'll have Colton Cable at right guard. Wesley Horton, 78 overall. And Stacy Wilkins at 76 overall. So a little weaker center to right tackle, but pretty strong on the left side. But overall, a decent offensive line at left end. Deontay McCray. And remember, they run a 3-3-5, so we're only going to see 3 of these linemen consistently, although they do have pretty nice depth at each spot. 75 overall. McCray looks like a power rusher. All these guys up here look to be power rushers. At D tackle, Jaleel Rivera-Harvey, normal dev, pretty good size there. Look at that power, 95 strength, 95 toughness, 89 hit power, good block shed, good tackle. So definitely looks to be a lane clogging D tackle. Might have to try and bounce our runs outside instead. In the linebacking core, Sebastian Benjamin, 80 overall, impact dev. Looks to more of like an edge pass rusher, not so much an off-ball line. He does have good, decent zone for a linebacker at 67, so a little versatile player up front here for Western Kentucky. Devin Lynch. And then we saw these 2 stud corners, Anthony Johnson and Upton Stout, 89 overall, 87 overall respectively. Virgil Marshall, 78 overall at free safety. DeMarco Williams, 77 at strong safety. So Western Kentucky looks to be a decent football team. I mean, beating Alabama, obviously no small task. So we're going to have to bring our A game against Western Kentucky if we want to get out of there with our first Conference USA victory. But this is where I'm going to leave you, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Just a quick midseason report episode. Kind of wanted to get caught up on all the things going on around the nation and kind of look at our recruiting board a little bit, look at some stats, go over the sliders, and just kind of, all the logistics, all the pageantries that kind of going into doing these dynasties. But as always, everybody, it's been real and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.